Thank you so much for joining us today. My name is Adrienne Montgomery. I'm with ERP VAR, and today I'm so happy to be joined by Fortis. We're going to be talking about Sage 300 and some security updates that are being made to the Sage 300 platform in the future, and we just want to make sure everybody's aware of them so they can make the appropriate accommodations for their system and make sure there's no interruptions in the long term. So thank you so much for joining us. We're joined today by Jeff Cox. He's our main presenter today over at Fortis. He's the ERP product director, so he's engaged with all the news and information coming out of Sage and the Sage 300 product line and all the product lines really for Sage. So a little bit about Fortis. Fortis is a leading provider of integrated payment technology solutions to North American merchants, differentiated by their very strong partnerships and multiple platforms that they represent. So they really look at the unique needs of the customer when it comes to payment solutions, and they recommend the right payment solution for that specific customer based on their payment volume and things of that nature. So they have a broad suite of end-to-end solutions that they can represent and understand which one would work best. And the great thing about them is they're extremely responsive, and their support is all US-based. And they have a diversified network of partners, Sage 300 partners that they work with. And they've been doing this for a very long time, over 25 years. And we're so pleased to have their expertise today in talking about the Sage 300 interface and all the new and future things happening with that. So with that said, I'm going to go ahead and hand it over to Jeff, who's going to get started with the presentation. Thank you, Jeff, so much.
So we are going to cover some recent announcements that Sage gave regarding updates to the Sage 300 product, which is the basic email and oauth email. The reason that our presentation today is going to be kind of cut in half is around the basic oauth updates. So we'll cover that. We're gonna move through that quickly because, as Sage has said, it may not be an issue or will not be an issue. So we're going to spend a little bit more time on the TLS issue and what that is, and some options, alternatives that we have for upgrading. And then we'll talk a little bit towards the end about Fortis and why, who we are and what we do as well. Okay, so again, the oauth and basic auth email issue number one. So essentially, Sage's announcement back in April was saying that they are disabling basic auth from some older versions of Sage, and they gave us some current versions that have oauth included. And so the recent update for basic auth is that Sage has said that users will not be impacted. So there should not be any issues with your basic auth emailing. So emailing within Sage 300 obviously allows you to send out quotes, orders, invoices, and also internal documents. So there should not be any impact to that around the basic oauth changes. The recommendation, obviously, as with most things, as technology changes, security updates become very important. So it's always recommended to stay on a recent version of your Sage 300, or at a minimum to keep the product updates in place as those come out, to update your patches so that there's no issues from a security standpoint. But again, as the latest announcement from Sage came out, there should not be any impact to your Sage 300 for emailing different documents. Just as a information, what is what is OAuth and basic auth. So basic auth essentially is sending your username and password every time you're sending out a document from Sage 300. Obviously, that creates a lot of security hazards. Microsoft has deemed this as not secure, and they have adopted OAuth. OAuth is an open standard authorization framework or protocol, and it provides apps with the ability to secure designated access. So, for example, I use my social media. I use Twitter a lot. I use LinkedIn quite a bit. So I can tell LinkedIn that it's okay to use my Twitter profile and have it update in both places. So I can update both timelines without having to post on both and without having to give my password to both applications. So this improves the security of my accounts, and just in case one of them suffers a security breach, it does not impact the other. So you see that quite a bit when you're giving access to certain things. You'll get a pop-up that says, do you want to give such and such application access to the application you're in? So that's OAuth, and it just creates a little more tightness and security around your username and password. Again, these are versions and patches for OAuth. Sage has said it's not going to be an issue if you're on other versions, but it is recommended to stay on a recent version and patch. So I want to spend a little more time on TLS, Transport Layer Security, and what that is. So Microsoft notified their customers and vendors last year, towards the end of last year. Google let their customers and vendors know last year as well. And then Sage put some updates out just a few months ago, which obviously created a little stir and lots of questions around what needed to be done. Essentially, what will happen is if you are on an older version of Sage 300 that is using TLS 1.0, 1.1, if you do not upgrade to a newer version that has 1.2, then Sage will go into a read-only mode. Okay. That's not good. Okay, so read-only mode means that you will not essentially be able to use your product for what it is made for. You won't be able to. I don't expect you to read what's on the screen here, but that was just Microsoft's description of the end of life. So what you will not be able to do in Sage, you won't be able to print or export, you won't be able to send out any information. You'll be able to access historical data, but you will not be able to add really anything new to your Sage 300 until you upgrade to a newer version that includes TLS 1.2. Okay, so very serious. So what is TLS? TLS is a widely adopted security protocol designed to facilitate privacy and data security for communications over the internet. A primary use of TLS is to encrypt the communication between web applications and servers, such as websites and loading, such as web browsers as it loads a website. TLS has evolved from what we remember as SSL or secure lockets layer to TLS today. And TLS encryption can help protect web applications from data breaches and other practice. Today, TLS protected HTTPS is a standard practice for all websites. So you'll see that if you pretty much go to any website today, you can check in the browser bar, the address bar, and see the HTTP or PS status on there. And Depending on the browser, you might have a little padlock sign there telling you that that's a secure website. It's obviously required for any website that is passing sensitive data. With Fortis being in the payments industry, that's really one of the first things that we look at for a customer who's doing business over the internet or accepting payments over the internet. We've got to make sure that those are locked down, that there's no sensitive data being passed without encryption and security features in place. So, but really, even if you're not passing sensitive data today, it's just common practice to have the HTTPS security in place on your website. Okay, so we've got about a year, right? So over the next several months, up until the end of September next year, if you're not using a compliant version that is on TLS 1.2, you need to start making arrangements to go ahead and upgrade your Sage 300. The 3 versions that are using TLS are in 2019.6, 2020.3, or 2021.0 or higher. So obviously we've got 2022 out as well. So again, upgrade to the latest version that you can and start making plans to upgrade to a recent version. Sage supports N-2, so new version -2 for their product of 300. It's also important that you keep your operating environment on an application that's using 1.2. So your Windows application on your client workstation, then your server operating system needs to be also using 1.2. Okay. Now I know that the OAuth is not an issue according to Sage now, but the versions are a little different. So the ones that are using basic auth versus the ones that you need to be on for TLS 1.2 are different, and we've noted those versions here on this slide. So again, you've got just a little less than a year to put your upgrade plans in place. If you happen to be on an older version of Sage 300, we recommend that you reach out to your business partner, your Sage business partner, as quickly as possible. If you are in that situation, there's obviously going to be others that are in that same situation, so you'll want to get on their schedule, their calendar as quickly as possible and start your upgrade plans for that. Okay, so the solution for TLS is getting onto a newer version that has TLS 1.2. If you are on a version without any patches, it may just be as simple as getting on the correct patch for that version, or you potentially, if you're on something lower than 2019, you would need to upgrade to at least 2019.6 to be able to be compliant. If you're unable to upgrade by October 1 of next year, your Sage product does go into a read-only mode, and you're not allowed to or won't have the ability to make any updates to that product until you upgrade. Okay, just some best business practices, I guess, if you will. Your digital roadmap planning. We as a technology provider, we believe that staying up to date on all of the versions and patches that you can, including your hardware and obviously your software is very important, because technology does change, security does update, and it's important to stay on the newest versions as possible to do that. So plan out your digital roadmap. If it's upgrade that needs to be replaced, obviously there's some supply chain issues there, so you'll want to start planning those types of upgrades as needed. Work with your business partner, schedule a conversation, a consultation with them, go over what your needs might be, and then make a plan to implement those updates or upgrades as soon as possible. Again, if you're on an older version than 2019, you will need to upgrade over the next year in order to avoid the read-only for your Sage 300. Okay, I will turn it over to Maya. Maya is available to tell us a little bit about Fortis.
Perfect. Okay, guys, so let me start with a little disclaimer. What we just presented is completely educational. What we want to do is kind of give you a tool to reduce that ROI. Obviously, some changes are coming. You have a little while to prepare for that, but really the thought process here is to get it out in front of you and make sure that you guys know of some tools available to help cut that ROI for any money that you have to spend. And integrated payments is a really good way to do that. Obviously, staying on top of the payments that you do have is a really good way to do that. But if you're not integrated today, if you're processing with your bank, or if you're processing with another integrated platform, it's always good to be able to take a peek at that. We're happy to help and look that over if you would like to send us your merchant statement, or if you have clients that could use our help. Couple things. Fortis, you may or may not have heard of Fortis. Our team is industry professionals. We've been doing the ERP integrated payments for about 20 years apiece. We do have a team that is here to help out and answer any questions that you might have, even if you're not our client. So we will give you the contact information at the end of this presentation, and you're more than welcome to reach out to us with any questions, concerns, if you want us to look over those rates, if you want us to walk you through level 2 and level 3 payments, or anything business to business, anything payments wise, we can help you out. But Fortis has been around for over 20 years. Right now, I think we're approaching about 300 employees and a little over 400 agents and partners. I believe we're right around 33,000 merchants, and we do have a big business line in ERP. We've probably, as a team, worked on about 10,000 payments installs across the board, from Sage to Acumatica to NetSuite. So there's not much that we haven't been involved with and haven't seen. So again, feel free to reach out to us, ask us questions, ping us with anything that you have. We are owners of the gateway, so that means that we do have the ability to rapid develop anything that is needed from a third-party standpoint. We work with most of the third parties that do tie into Sage 300 and the other platforms. And again, we are rapid development. We do have the rapid development capabilities. Next slide, please. Perfect. So a couple of things. We always offer for clients that come to us a couple of things. We do a challenge. If we cannot save you money, we will pay for 10 hours of your consultant's time. Essentially, reach out to your partner if you have any if you have any questions from them, if they need to do anything and we can't save you money, we will pay for 10 hours of their time. I do want to press that always have them involved in everything that you do. Don't take our word for it. Reach out to your Sage 300 provider, your Sage 300 partner, have them walk you through it, and fully vet us. Absolutely. We are here to answer any of those questions, to help where we can. And with that, what we will add on top of that is, when you start processing with Fortis, if you do start processing with Fortis, we will throw money towards your upgrade that comes in the next few months, right? So that's part of our help, but also the savings, the efficiency of doing the integrated payments, that's part of the savings. But we will throw money towards that upgrade for you, and we will save you money on the integrated payments. So with that, you see the contact information here. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out. You can ping us on any of our social media platforms. LinkedIn, we're all on there. You see my email address, and usually my direct phone number is on there too. I will make sure that anybody that emails me has my direct phone number, and walk you through anything that you need, okay? Thanks a lot, and we appreciate you attending today.
Enjoy the rest of your day. Bye-bye.